Hello children, I hope you had fun making your own under the sea sculpture. All the textures and materials that you experience would have burst new rainbow colored neurons in your brains. Today, we will be discussing a very important topic, standing up for others. What would you do if you saw a kid being mean to another kid? Would you tell the kid to stop? Would you tell an adult? Or would you just walk away? It's not my problem. If I say something, the bully will turn on me. Don't be a bystander. Watching, laughing, doing nothing makes you a bystander. So what is bullying? If the answer is yes to any of the questions below, then it's bullying. Are my actions or words hurting someone else's feelings? Are my actions or words hurting someone physically or scaring them? Am I taking out my anger on someone unfairly? Am I trying to force someone to do something they don't want to do? Have you encountered a bully? The Juice Box Bully by Bob Sorensen and Maria Dismondy, illustrated by Kim Shaw. As Pete stood in front of his new class, Mr. Pladzer announced, "Let's welcome Pete to our team. Pete will be sitting behind Ralph." Settling into his seat, Pete pulled his hat down over his head so that he could only see his eyes. Turning around, Ralph warned him, "They don't allow hats in this class here." "You're not my mother," snarled Pete. After giving an assignment, Mr. Pladzer walked around the class and quietly asked Pete to remove his hat. Once he walked away, Pete pulled Ralph. "Thanks a lot," he growled. "Rrr." Later at recess, Pete didn't ask to join the soccer game. Instead, he watched. "Hi, Pete," Ralph said. "Do you want to get into the game?" "Not with those nerds," Pete replied. "I don't like those kids." "What do you want to for?" asked Ralph. Pete smiled spitefully. "Let's steal the ball. We're bigger than them. We can have our own ball game." "I don't think so," answered Ralph. "That's not how we do things around here." "Then I'll do it myself," taunted Pete. "If you're afraid." Pete ran over to the field and yelled, "Pass it to me," when David passed the soccer ball. Pete then grabbed the ball and ran off the field. "What's going on?" shouted David. Pete didn't answer. He ran faster and faster and then turned and waved the ball in the air. At first, the kids just stood there. They then huddled together before walking over to Pete. Ruby and Lucy led the way. "I know you're new around here, but what you're doing?" asked Ruby. "I'm playing with the ball," Pete snapped, thinking, "You're going to take it away from me?" Ruby didn't argue, nor did she threaten Pete. Instead, she said softly but firmly, "It's your first day here, so there is no way you could know in Mr. Platzer's class we made a promise to take care of ourselves, each other and our classroom, and to solve problems peacefully. We promised that in this class no one would stood by and accept bad behavior. When someone acts hurtfully, we all speak up. We want you to be a member of this class and make the same promise." "Dumb rules!" Throwing the ball on the ground, Pete walked away. The next day, Pete ate alone. When he finished lunch, the kids ran out of the lunchroom while Pete trailed behind. Perry then ran up to Pete and then she asked him if he wants to play soccer. "I don't play with nuts." "Okie dokie," Perry said. "Hey Perry," Pete called. Then Perry turned and then Pete said, "Nice shirt." And then what he did is he squirted some juice on Perry's shirt. "Oh no." "You are so mean," she shrieked at him. "I'll tell everyone how mean you are. You won't have any friends here." By now, Ralph, David, and some others have come up to them. "Perry, I won't let you do that." Ralph said clearly, "Remember our promise." "I don't want to remember the promise. Look what he did." "We'll ignore him forever until he leaves the school and goes back to his old school," Perry demanded. Ralph walked between Perry and Pete. "We're not going to do this." "Perry, I know you're angry. You can tell Mr. Platter if you want, but we're not going to let you treat Pete this way. And we won't put up with this bad behavior either." Perry stormed away, leaving Pete and Ralph behind. "No one's ever done that before," Pete said. "Why did you stand up for me?" he asked. "I've been in your shoes, and I learned being a bully doesn't work. And I'm not a bystander," Ralph said. "I don't stand by and let mean things happen. Besides, Perry is my friend, and you shouldn't have ruined her shirt." "Won't the other kids mad at you for sticking up for me?" Pete asked. "No way. They all made the same promise. We talked about it long time with Mr. Platter, and every kid here tries to keep that promise." "At my old school, I got picked all the time," Pete said. "Everybody just let that happen. So I started to tease kids before they could tease me or be mean to me." Ralph replied, "We decided that when somebody tries to be a bully, no one will stand by and let it happen. We speak up or we ask for help from an adult. But we won't be bystanders to bad behavior." The bell rang and it was time to go back to class. "They hate me. They'll never let me play with them," Pete said. Before Ralph could answer, David, Lucy, and guess who? Perry came by. Perry apologized. "I can't believe I forgot the reason why we made the promise. If we can remember to stand up for each other, it's a lot more fun." "Wow, the kids here are very different from my school," Pete said. "Maybe I'll give this promise thing a try." "Great, let's go talk to Mr. Platter." Children, take a look at this page. What do you see? Do you see people with different skin colors? Do you see different hair colors? Oh, what about the person in the wheelchair? Have you seen a person in the wheelchair before? They sit in a wheelchair because they're unable to walk. How different life must be when you can't walk or run. Do you think we should be kind to them? In the story, we read a new word, bystander. Bystanders are people who just see bullying behaviors happen but do nothing about it. Bystanders make the largest population in schools. Expert says that bystanders have the power to reduce bullying in schools by speaking up. The promise, "I will speak up instead of acting as a bystander. I choose to participate in activities that don't involve teasing. I forgive others if they make poor choices. I model good behavior. I accept others for their differences. I include others in group situations. I will talk to an adult when there is a problem I cannot manage. I am powerful in making a difference in my school." I hope you had fun reading Juice Box Bully with Perry and me today. Let us know your promise that you are going to make to stand up against bullying. #WeAreBrainbow. Till then, see you again in our next story time. Take care. Bye.